Welcome back to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Today's episode, powered by Perfect Sports Nutrition, is all about getting and developing that knockout power in your rear hand. All right, in today's episode, we're breaking down how to get more power in your rear hand. And there's two different ways that you have to look at this, okay? First one is a technical issue. You might not be throwing that cross, that uppercut, that rear hook with good power because your technique is off. So I'm gonna break down the technique for you, but also I'm gonna show you some exercises that we can use with a medicine ball that'll help you generate that power. We want that hip turning, that back foot pivoting, and that's what's gonna help get you that extra power, okay? So let's get down first on how to break down the technique to get that power. Now, I like to always start with some of the mistakes people tend to make that are gonna limit the power they get. Now, the first thing is that back foot. Watch here. So when I take a step here with this front foot, right, I need to step because power, you need to have that momentum. You need that step to help weight transfer. So the first thing I do is I take a step forward. As I take a step forward, okay, you see my shoulder angle, okay? So I take a step forward and I lower. Okay, see, I'm more narrow in my center line. If I take a step forward and I keep my shoulder square, I'm losing this rotation in the turn from my core, my hip, and my plant foot on the back, okay? So I need to narrow my center line. So even if I'm square, I might step here, okay? You see my angle? Now it lets me turn and generate that power. I need rotation, okay? So I take a step here, narrow my center line. Now watch my back foot as I pivot. Boom, okay? That's my shot, okay? So step in, boom, I generate that power. Step in, narrow my center line. Now for my more advanced followers here on the channel, create a little wedge, right? Just in case you're walking into something. You might have to block something and then boom, generate that power. Or it can be a 1-2, it doesn't matter, but I'm just gonna focus on that rear hand. So one, I take a step, narrowing my center line, okay? From here, now you see my feet are now pointed in the same direction. Now when I wanna get power, my back foot then turns, okay, towards my target and helps me generate that pivot and rotation. Now, the mistake people do make is they might even step, but then they don't turn that back foot. And that's where you get weak arches, collapsed foot. You don't get that power, right? So again, they'll step here without turning that back foot. You're gonna lose a lot of power. So I step, narrow my center line, boom, pivot my back foot. I'm on the ball of that foot, okay? Now the other mistake people will make is they'll keep their stance too long, right? If you're kickboxing, we tend to be in a bit of a longer stance, right? But if I take a step forward and then throw, my stance is too long. For me to get more power in my right hand, my head needs to be on top of my knee, okay? Which means this. If I step here, you see my knee is here, my head is here, right? There's a disconnect. But I want to be able to step, okay, with my head on top. That means I'm weight transferring and I got power in my hand. So I might have to bring my back foot up a little bit, especially with an uppercut, right? If I take a step here and throw long, that's kind of ridiculous, right? So the same setup, I step here, now I keep, boom, I keep my foot underneath me, okay? Boom, and I can generate that power in the turn, okay? If you're not turning that back foot, you're not generating the full maximum power. And a lot of times, I won't even pivot it, right? I might throw a right cross here, boom, because it's more of a setup. But when I want to knock you out, boom, I'm turning that back foot, generating that power, okay? So the three main technical tips before we move on to the medicine ball is one, narrowing your center line. You're not going to get power without rotating your core and your feet, okay? Second thing is make sure I take a step forward. Step forward, narrow center line. That last point is this, boom, whether it's a cross, uppercut, or hook, I'm pivoting my back foot, okay? Nice and strong, not too long. There's not enough power. I need weight transfer, so boom, boom, okay? Getting forward and nice. Now, a lot of people think the punches are from the arm, but every tip I showed you and the mistake that people make is not about using the biomechanics of the body to be able to generate that power. So I'm gonna bring Diego in now here to show you some of the med balls, right? Why I like the med ball is because it lets you really focus on the speed aspect of it as well. With power, you need to throw with a little bit of speed. If you're only working in the weight room heavy bench pressing, you're not getting the speed aspect, right? You need to be able to, boom, you need to be able to pop. That's going to get you the power as well, okay? So the first one we're going to work on here is just a nice rotation, okay? So when you watch Diego here, when we're rotating here, it's focusing on using my core and the pivoting of the back leg, okay? This is where you need to train. And from here, you're getting that nice snap of the hip. If you're just throwing without using this hip, you're losing on that transfer of power, okay? So that is the main first one we'll do, okay? Rotations, okay? Getting that rotation. Now, the second one I like to do is almost like the shot put. But we're going to stay stationary. So just from here, boom, I just twist and turn, okay? Now, it's not the press of the arm that's going to generate the power. It's the turning of the hip and the throwing of the ball, okay? So, very important to remember, it's the hip turn, okay? But as I mentioned, I like when you step, right? Because stepping is weight transfer. So now, Diego's going to take a few steps back from the wall, and he's going to use a little gallop in. He steps in and throws out, okay? It can be... A lot of people train it as a step behind to generate that power. But for me, I like heel replace heel with the gallop. As I gallop, just like the step. Okay, I might be here. I gallop, narrow my center line, look at my feet positions turned this way, and boom, okay? Now, I reference the foot position because boxers are going to stand bladed, right? Right now, my feet are pointed in this direction already, right, as a boxer. So when I want power, I just turn. I just turn. I just turn. But us kickboxers and Muay Thai fighters tend to stay with our front foot pointing forward. We're more square than a traditional boxer is going to be. So I can't just do this. That's why I momentarily turn my body to be able to generate power, okay? So that's the first two. Number one, rotation, hip turning, okay? Very important, back foot pivot. Number two, we develop stationary power versus adding the gallop and push, right? Generating momentum to get power. The last one, and a good way you can get power is, boom, being explosive off of that back foot, right? So this is the third one. We have Diego against the wall. He pushes up and then uses the spring of the back half to be able to generate power, right? So you need to understand stationary, boom, explosion, right? Stationary versus momentum stepping versus spring stepping, okay? Each one has different types of unique power rather than just sitting there throwing that punch, okay? It's about pop, speed, explosiveness, putting it all together with that spring. You know, the right technique is what's going to generate the power for you. Boom. All right. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Right? We want to get power in our strikes. There's traditional ways where you really get power. Then there's speed techniques. There's snap. But ultimately, it's these big power shots that we want to land to get the big spectacular knockouts. So one, train the technique, put some exercises behind it to help you reference and train those muscles, especially the hip, the calves, you know. The rotation of the core just adds to the power, okay? You need some strength. So, and I still recommend everyone who does mixed martial arts or kickboxing or combat sports, they should still be doing a well-trained weight room program to add to this, okay? But when it comes closer to fight time, we're looking at more of that speed and explosiveness, okay? Make sure you keep liking and subscribing to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Make sure you support the sponsors. We have Perfect Sports Nutrition. Use code Bazooka20 to get 20% off of your supplements. My branched-chains and my proteins are my daily staples, okay? So make sure you get on those. And we have Hayabusa. Hayabusa Fight, all linked in the description below, and you can get all the nice T3 gloves that are my personal favorites. And last but not least, bazookatraining.com. For less than $10 a month, you're getting an archived library of over 200 videos. Plus, we get daily, you get new workouts every single Monday for you to follow, okay? Bag work, training drills, sparring drills, tutorials, all for you to be able to practice at home in any environment. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you next time here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Welcome to Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA online training. I'm Bazooka Joe Valtellini, the owner here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA. Over the past year, I've designed and created a website to teach Bazooka curriculum at home and across the world. The purpose of this website is for you to, one, hit your fitness and health goals, all while learning world-class martial arts instruction from me. The beautiful thing about this website, it's geared for all levels. So if you're learning martial arts for the first time as a beginner, we help you progress into the bigger stages. And if you're a pro fighter, guess what? We have different fight concepts for you to improve your tool set and your skills in the ring or cage. As the fastest rising kickboxing world champion and a lifelong martial artist with over 30 years of experience, I've been able to combine my passion for martial arts and teaching to create this website. This website is going to give you some of the tricks, secrets, and inside look at some of the training I use to win my world title. Once you subscribe to this site, you're going to be getting weekly training videos and tutorials that you can do from anywhere. The sections are broken up into 3 parts. The first is bag workout. So if you have a bag at home or at your gym, you can use these workouts to supplement your training. The second is at-home workouts. A lot of us don't have the room for a bag or a bag in general, so these workouts are for no equipment needed and you can do them anywhere. And finally, the tutorial section. If you're having any problems with a specific technique or fight concept that's covered in any of the workouts, go to the tutorial section, learn the technique, and then go back to the workout, and this time, do it with proper technique. One of the added benefits once you subscribe is the forums section, where you can get a more personalized experience where you can ask questions and I'll be able to go in there and answer them. It's all about building a team and a community of martial artists helping each other grow. So subscribe now to get access to all the videos plus more so you can be part of the squad here at Bazooka Kickboxing and MMA.